Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So this is my first live chat, and I'm fortunate enough to have with me Saniyé, who is a award-winning singer and video game uh, aficionado. I don't know if you want to call yourself a fan.
I haven't won any
Um,
awards yet for playing video games, but
Not for the video games, but she's won awards for the music. Uh, so this is my first live. Normally I do on videos of myself playing games and stuff. So um, this is going to be a different approach. I'm not going to do these like all the time. I'm not replacing my regular show. This is just something I want to do for fun, and I have a few other people potentially lined up. So, but it's cool that I got Saniyé as my first guest. So I'm just going to give a little introduction about who Saniyé is. And sorry, I'm probably going to be looking down because I got some notes. I don't want to mess this up. So Saniyé started writing songs and playing music at the age of 5. Her debut album, When I Don't Sleep, made its rounds nationally and internationally with much success. She won the grand prize in a prestigious John Lennon songwriting contest. Went on to 30-city U.S. tour and headlined the sold-out show with the multi-platinum singer-songwriter Lisa Loeb, which is cool. I totally remember her. I remember those videos and her songs. So yeah, I was fortunate enough to contact Saniyé through Twitter, as I noticed. One of the first things I actually noticed was her photos of her in her video game dresses, her Donkey Kong dress right now, which is cool.
I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah, that's like because Donkey Kong's my favorite game. Anybody that watches my channel probably knows that by now. So you know, I was just like, wow, where the heck did she get that dress? And then I saw a few other posts, and she was wearing a Nintendo themed dress. So you know, I was just like, awesome, following me back. So I thought I need to start looking for someone to do some live chats with, and I sent out a request, and frankly, I wasn't sure she would even respond. I was like, she'd be like, no, but she was totally in for it, and that was awesome. So welcome Saniyé to Brian's Man Cave.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So
Man caves and women caves are the best place to be.
Oh yeah,
really.
Sure. Yes. Women have their caves too. It's not just men.
Absolutely, I got my own.
All right. So if there's anything you want to talk about before we get to some of the questions I have.
Well, now that we're talking about man and women caves, my woman cave right now has a Sega Genesis, which is my baby.
Nice.
I've got some Game & Watches, all original from the 80s. Yeah, so I'm dating myself. I got a piano, like an upright piano. It's white. It's awesome. I've got guitars, and let's see, got some foreign DVDs, foreign movies, and a ton of Sega Genesis games, of course, like just a pile of them. But yeah, when I win the lottery, I'm going to expand that woman cave.
We all say that.
I would definitely get an arcade game, like a real
stand-up,
absolutely.
Real arcade, official. Would you go with like a 1980s one or one of the new modern ones? Or?
I would get Pole Position. Yes, I love that game so much. Damn it, and none of the barcades carry it. And I actually asked a barcade one time, I was like, when are you going to get Pole Position? And they were like, oh, we'll never get it because for some reason that game sucks up too much power or something.
Well, yeah, there was like two versions of it too. There was like a one where you actually sat inside the unit and you had the steering wheel. And then there was a stand-up version, which was a little more complicated. You had to stand up and control the pedal and all that. The other one, you're sitting down like you're driving. So
yeah.
Actually, if you ever watch the, I don't know if you like Judas Priest or any of those heavy metal bands, but if you watch the Judas Priest, what was it called? There's one of them. They actually have that in the video where the kid sits down in the unit and he's playing it.
Oh, I gotta look that up.
I wish I remember which one it was. I remember seeing it. I was like, oh my god, Pole Position. That's cool.
Well, we all got to petition Barcade or something, and just get. Maybe I'll start a petition and just be like, pole position, please.
I think the song is called "Freewheel Burning." That kind of makes sense.
Okay, that does make sense.
Anyways, okay. So let's get on with some of the questions. So pretty much the way I'm going to do this is I just prepared a few questions, and it's just going to be a nice, simple chat. So I hope I'm not getting any reverb going on back here, but probably am. So my first question to you is, tell me about your music career and how long you've been performing professionally.
Well, I'm an MTV generation kid, so I just watched MTV and Saturday morning cartoons back in the day when cartoons were on Saturday mornings, and I played Game & Watches, I played Atari, I played Commodore 64 because my cousin had it and we lived together, so that's where it started it all. And I had a little Casio keyboard, so that's what got me started on songwriting. So, you know, total 80s kid here.
Yeah, the true retro gamer, the real retro gamer.
The real. I'm kind of like still stuck there. If you put like a Wii in front of me, I would not know how to play it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I bought the Wii, and I only did the bowling game, I think. And you know, most of the time when I have these new modern systems, I end up playing the old games on them, like Atari.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
Yeah.
So like
nostalgia.
So your career though, how like as far as getting into like doing music professionally, when did that happen?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, you know, like last week. I'm just kidding. I got into it maybe, I would say 10 years ago. It goes by really quick. 10 years ago is when my first album came out, When I Don't Sleep. And then just last year, Let's Play came out. Let's Play. Woo. There's actually two versions. This is the clean version.
The clean version.
This is the dirty version. It's got explicit lyrics.
Oh, okay. So
this is for grown-ups, and this is for, you know, radio and for kids. But nice. So yeah, I mean, I have 2 albums under my belt, and I've been always songwriting since I was 5. So I love songs and creating and pop music, and it's mostly this is all pop, pretty much pop music.
Not so much on the jazz line or anything like that, just more of the pop.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some jazz influences because that's my background. I studied it, and so there'll always be a little something in there. So it's not like Britney Spears pop, you know, it's a little jazzier than that.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So what were your musical inspirations? Like, what did you listen to as a kid, and what even today? What do you listen to today that kind of inspires
Well, I mean, as a kid, whatever was on MTV, basically, I was like, oh, and like that was, you know, Michael Jackson and Madonna and Axl Rose and Bruce Springsteen and Cyndi Lauper.
Some of the the mainstream pop
people, yeah.
Yeah,
and rock too, some rock music, and I didn't get into jazz until college. A little more sophisticated music.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that style of music is usually appreciated when you're older than, you know, when you're kids. You typically just listen to whatever's on, whatever MTV is going to throw at you, right?
Right. And I had a friend in the summertime. I would go to Turkey, and my closest friend there, when we were teenagers, he would blast like Iron Maiden, the Fear of the Dark album specifically. Yes, you know, lots of Metallica, lots of Iron Maiden. Yeah. What else was it? Sisters of something.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
So there's Halloween as well. Did you remember that group?
Yes, I do. I don't think I've listened to any of their music, but I remember their covers. I remember seeing them in the stores.
Yeah, so my listening spectrum is very wide, very, very wide. And just 2 weeks ago, I went to the opera at Lincoln Center. So, you know, and then last week I went to Tony Bennett. Um,
Tony
so
Bennett, yeah.
yeah, so it's like opera, Tony Bennett, Iron Maiden, Michael Jackson. It's just like I love music, you know. So
Yeah, I've been the same
genre.
way. I've been the same way. When I was younger, I listened to like the classic rock. So I listened to, you know, some of the older stuff, and then I started listening to the more modern. But my brother was always blasting the Metallica stuff, so I got used to that. And you know, some of the Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, and so a lot of that was like in my head, even though I wasn't actually actively listening to the music. It was just always
Right.
there in the background.
Yes.
And then probably by the 90s, that's when, you know, everybody was getting into Nirvana and Green Day and all that stuff. And
Yep, the grunge era.
yeah, that's around the time where I actually started a band of myself, and I was playing guitar and bass. And
Nice.
yeah, we are actually very close to our first like CD when everything just started to fall apart. You know, a band member
It's very
quit.
hard.
And yeah, we were
Making
like
a
a
CD
five.
is so hard. So
We were
people
like a
support
5-member
music.
band. Yeah. And it just
Get the CD.
yeah, exactly.
So you were a
It's just one
five-member
of those
band.
things. Yeah, we were 5 members. There were 5 of us, and we were all going through. You know, we were still in school, so that was part of the problem, right? So then, you know, we all had to show up for band practice, and then, you know, some of them started getting girlfriends and social lives and moving on, and then we went to a 4-piece person band and into a 3, and then it was just like, it's not working.
Since when do girlfriends break up bands? I mean, that's just never happened in the history of
No way, no.
any kind of music or band.
Yeah, and well, we actually had 2 songs done, and sadly, I only have them today on video, or not video, on audio cassette.
Well,
And I
it's
don't even
never
have a
too
tape
late.
player.
You can always transfer the music, and you can always make new music, you know.
That's for sure. Yeah, yeah. I got my
Never too
guitar
late.
sitting over there right now. I do pick it up every once in a while and play it, and it's just for fun. And in this case now, I don't think I'll be writing many songs in the future. Just not.
I want to write music for video games. I think that would be super fun. I've seeing all these posts about the Sonic Mania music, which I haven't heard yet, but I saw the cover, like I saw the vinyl, and I'm like, I gotta get that because Sonic is my favorite.
Sonic's your favorite.
Yeah,
So you're more of a Sega than a Nintendo. Right?
Well, that's only because that's what I was exposed to the most.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like if I could choose, I would have chosen both consoles. You know, but that's what was given to me. So
the guy that I did my last podcast with, I joined in on his podcast. He used to work for Sega, and he was given some good information about what was going on in the days of the Sega days and he said he got to play Sonic the Hedgehog before anybody else. He was one of the testers. I was like, that's awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I was more of a Nintendo guy, I guess. You know, I was made in the Nintendo days. So.
I'm a huge fan because when I would go to friends' houses, they had Nintendo, and that's what we would play. We would play Super Mario Brothers, but then I'd go home and I wouldn't have it. So that's why I'm not good at it, even though I really like it. But I'm good at Sonic because that's what I had at home.
Okay, so let's move on to the other question I was going to ask you, because like I kind of mentioned before, the first time I noticed you were wearing that awesome dress. And then I saw some other, like the photo that you have for your Twitter account and stuff. You're wearing this Nintendo thing, and you had the Nintendo belt and stuff.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about that? Like, where are you getting this stuff? Like, you know, what's that all about anyway?
So I have an awesome friend. Her name is Lizzie Fee, and she's fantastic. And she styled me for these photo shoots. So she found the dresses. They were custom made on Etsy. And so shout out Lizzie Fee. Woo! Yeah. And I'm coming out with a new EP. And so, you know, like Let's Play is about playing, and not just video games, but all kinds of games, and just kind of like bringing back nostalgia, and the motto of it is let's not like adult You know, like who wants to be an adult? We all want to be kids. We're big kids.
All right. So we just had a little bit of an audio issue there. So we're going to do a part 2 here where we're just going to continue on. You know, that's happens
in player 2.
Yeah, player 2. That's what happens when you do live streaming, right? You gotta. Anyways, okay, so let's move on. So we were just talking about your dresses there, and you were saying your friend, and yes, that awesome. Let me just put it on there for a second.
Stylist.
Yes, your stylist
and production designer extraordinaire Lizzie Fee. Yes.
All right, we could. Okay, so that's cool though. I mean, that was one of the things I really like thought was awesome when I saw those pictures. I was like, where did she get those dresses? Like, just, that fabric, I could drape my house in that fabric.
Yes, I call it my conky dong dress.
Conky dong or danky king.
Exactly.
Okay, so the other question I was going to ask you, and I think I might know the answer now because I think I heard one. And do you have any video game related songs? Like, do you actually write songs with like Sonic in there, or video games related, or anything, or do you just kind of keep that as a side thing and don't mix the two?
Well, no, I'm mixing the two, especially now with the new EP. It's all video game based in EP, like 5 or 6 songs, and the whole theme is video games. The other album, Let's Play, was more a general theme of playing and being playful and bringing nostalgia back and being a big kid. And even though there is a song on here called Pinball and Video Games, so that's like the first song on here, but the rest of it, you know, there's a few more themes on here, but it's not just video games. But the next EP is going to be like just video games.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and video game sounds as well. And I mean, again, it's like it's a huge part of me, but it's not all of me. It's just one side of me, and that's why it's great that you could be an artist and you make more than one album. It's like it's one of the reasons why I love Radiohead, is because none of their albums sound like the other. Yeah. But it's still Radiohead, and they're amazing. They can cross genre and still be and get their message across, which I just love.
Yeah, they kind of each album has its own unique sound and its feel to it. You don't feel like you're listening to the same. That's awesome. So I think we kind of touched on this. Oh, sorry, what was that?
What's your favorite? Like, OK Computer would be my Desert Island album. So if you had to pick one, what would you take with you on a desert island?
Like an album?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that's a tough one.
It is.
You know what? One album I've been listening to recently a lot is, and I listened to this as a kid, was Traveling Wilburys, believe it or not. And it's strange because I've been listening to them a lot more lately, and then just recently Tom Petty passed away.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because when I was working and I was listening to Volume 3, their second album, and my coworker turned and said, Tom Petty just died. And I'm like, what? And as she said that, I was actually listening to Tom Petty singing in my ear.
Wow.
I'm like, that's creepy. I'm like, I'm listening to him right now. This is not happening.
It's your fault. He died.
I killed him. Well, and the thing was, I was always thinking, they were from the 80s, right? They all formed, it was all, superstars. And, since George Harrison's death, that we all knew that there could never be another album, right? But I'm like, well, at least we still have Tom Petty, we still have Bob Dylan, and some of the other, Jeff Lynne, and now we lost Tom Petty. So I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
I still remember being upset when Roy Orbison died. So, to me, I think, and that's probably what would be my favorite, because even though I like the metal, I like Metallica, and I like all that stuff, but I think that album is just brilliant. It was just, you got 5 amazing musicians put together, and they didn't just do it to become famous or anything. They did it because they wanted to do it. It was a passion.
Yeah.
And so I would have to go with that one.
Awesome. Speaking speaking of music, so the new EP, it's not titled yet, that I'm coming out with, that's video game based. The producer I'm working with is awesome, so I want to give him a shout out. His name is David Andronico.
Sweet.
And fun fact about David Andronico, he's also an amazing songwriter and musician, and he has his own like projects and everything. And one of his most recent projects, he posted saying he wrote some music that's now in the new NHL hockey game 2017. So
wow, cool.
Yeah, so I was so excited for him. I'm like, he's got music in a video game.
Like, it's going to be like one of the songs that play when you're, you know, the intro or something like that, or. I
guess so. I haven't played the game yet, but I saw his post. I was really excited for him. It's
been a long time since I've actually sat and played one of those NHL. Probably the last one I would have played would have been like 96. NHL 96. Going back to the Sega Genesis days.
Yeah.
Played on the Sega Genesis.
I play, so like I said, I have a Sega Genesis at home. I've had one since 1990. And then for the times that I cannot play at home, and like say I'm stuck on the subway or something, I'm in New York City, I got my favorite, which is the Sonics. I got Sonic 2, 1, Sonic CD, Sonic 4, but my favorite is 2, so I just push on this little bad boy, and then the Sega comes up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
How do you, like, do you ever play a lot of, like, do you play any retro games on that thing? Like,
yeah, this is what I play. This is what I'm showing you.
What it is?
Yeah.
How do you find the controls, though? Like,
I love it. It's
I have, so it's all touch, yeah.
So what happens with the controls, I love it a lot more because with the actual controller, if I play for like 6 hours, I'll get a blister. But with this, you don't get a blister.
I always found that the touchscreen wasn't as responsive for me. I don't know. But I play like, I have the Activision one for the Atari on my phone because I live in the Atari days. And some games, it's not fast, like it's not responsive enough. Like I try to play Pitfall and Hero and some of the other like really, really games. And the thing about the Atari was the controls were everything. If you didn't have the controls, you would lose for sure. Like some of them had to be precise, and they were designed for that joystick, not a gamepad. Another issue.
Yeah, I had that joystick, and so like I guess for Sonic, it's really smooth. Like it's really a lot easier for me.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. But for other games, maybe you're right. You know, I haven't really played too many other games on my phone. I play my favorites. But I remember, like, even with the Atari joystick, like, I felt like I was gonna break it.
Actually, a lot of people do break them. I see how people say that a lot on the Atari Facebook group and stuff, that they've smashed their you know, just that rigorous playing and it just snaps and the button or whatever just fails on you. And
yeah,
they're notorious. So,
I tried really hard to not have E.T. fall into the pit when I was playing Atari, and that's when I felt like the controller could have snapped. But that's
one of those games where you throw the controller. I actually did that a lot with my Nintendo. You know, I just get so angry playing Battletoads or something like that. I'd be like, "Stupid game, fling." Luckily, I had a carpeted floor.
I do have a newfound respect for E.T. by the way. After I saw the documentary,
yes,
and after I learned that
they
only made it in 6 weeks, and it's the best game ever made in 6 weeks. So
Howard Scott Warshaw put a lot of work into that in a small amount of time and was able to pull off an amazing game compared to what they had.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you compare it to the other games on Atari, they're much more simple, one board, you know, either dot gobbling or like a little arrow shooting things. And so for him to create that and not just take the default route and just create a Pac-Man clone was amazing. I mean,
it's amazing, and he probably didn't even sleep, you know, for like 6 months.
And he also did Indiana Jones, and he did
hats off to him.
Yara's Revenge. He did a lot of great games. So, you know, he was, you know, thumbs up to him. And most people that bash ET don't even understand the rules, and they don't even know why they're bashing the game. Like, they just don't. It's just going with the flow. Everybody hates it. Well, so I guess my other question, I probably already answered this, but I guess do you consider yourself a retro gamer or a modern gamer? Or both?
Absolutely retro. Like I said in part one, if you give me a Wii, I'll just be like, I don't know how to play.
Yeah.
I
Or
think
an Xbox?
yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan. I mean, I would, like I said, I want to expand my woman cave. And, you know, if I had the time, I honestly would get every console that there's out there and figure out what my favorites are on each of the consoles and then just play all those. But I kind of just stuck with my Sega Genesis, and I still have my Atari. I actually think I still have the Commodore 64 too,
Yeah,
dusting away somewhere.
that was my staple when I was a kid as well. I grew up with the Intellivision and the Commodore 64. So, and my Intellivision lasted so long before it broke on me. And then I had my Commodore for the longest time before I didn't get a Nintendo until much later, like
Right.
late 80s.
Right. And that was like gold when that came out. I mean, like I said, I remember going to friends' houses and just being like, let's play Mario.
Yeah. I was the same. I'd go to my friend. He had Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda, and I was like, I guess I'll just go home and play my Commodore. I'll play my Atari.
But the great thing is, like, none of those would exist without the earlier ones.
Oh, boy.
You know? I want to can I give another shout out?
Sure, go ahead.
Since we're talking about video games. So a new book is coming out. I don't know if you know, and a friend of mine wrote it, Patrick Hickey Jr., and it's called, it's a book about the retro games, like the past 30 years and the stories behind them.
Oh,
and it's
nice.
So exciting, and it's called The Minds Behind the Games. I think, wait, I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah.
It's a long title, but it's so I heard about it before I even met this guy through a mutual friend, which is amazing. Like, because she knows how much I love video games and how I'm incorporating it into my music and everything. And she was like, "Oh, my coworker is coming out with a book, and it's going to be like the ultimate like book about video games and yeah, and the stories behind them." And I was just so excited, and then ended up meeting him, and it's fate. So yeah, follow him. His name is Patrick Hickey Jr. Jr. and that's his handle on Twitter. That's his handle on Instagram.
Cool. What we could do is when we're done this live cast, we can actually put it in the description as well.
Awesome. The Minds Behind the Games: Interviews with Cult and Classic Video Game Developers. Dun dun dun.
Nice.
So that's not out
There's
yet.
A few books.
Coming out.
Few books that I've seen that are worth getting, and this looks kind of interesting.
I can't wait. And there's a chapter on ET, I heard. So people who read it, they will come to maybe respect what it took to make that game.
Well, yeah, that's the ultimate thing there. Is if you can get people to appreciate the old ones, not just call them old games or be like, whatever, they're all crap, because that's what a lot of people do, right? They slam them. They never even.
Yeah, it's like, dude, make your own game. See how easy it is.
Yeah. And they didn't have anything to reference back then either, right? Today we have so much.
Definitely.
We could reference so much.
Definitely.
Okay, so I think we might have already answered this one, but you might give a different answer. But do you have an all-time favorite game? Could be Sonic, but you might surprise us.
I do very much love Sonic 2 more than Sonic 1, I guess. Maybe it's because I played Sonic 1 more, but right now, like, I really miss Pole Position. I haven't played that game since I was like 6. And yeah. I guess as an arcade game right now, it's my favorite because I'm just pining for it. I want to play it so bad.
Did you have it on the Commodore 64?
No. I only played it in arcades. No.
No ports, eh? Just the original arcade.
Just the original arcade, and every time I'd walk into an arcade, I'd gravitate right to it. I'm like, yep, there's my game.
Get out of my way.
I'm actually really good at car racing games. I could brag about that a little bit.
Yeah, I bet, because I know I suck at them. And
Except for Mario Kart. I suck at Mario Kart.
I don't know. The only car game I really enjoyed was Chase HQ or Chase Headquarters or whatever it was, and you were just driving around trying to catch criminals. And that was a classic arcade game too. I mean, that was like the steering wheel had like a shifter where you can go into like turbo mode and stuff. And it was really simple. I mean, you're just driving until you find the car. I like the cars because they were all like Lamborghinis and Porsches and stuff. I mean, you had to like smash into the back of them. I mean, you were driving a Porsche 928. But I think that's what I liked about it. Not the gameplay was meh.
The steering wheel is key, by the way. I have a game called Hard Drivin' on my Sega, and I don't have a steering wheel, and my thumbs would be like major blisters. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't really like playing car games without a wheel.
An actual driving wheel. Yeah,
an actual driving wheel. Yeah. Not as fun.
So, is there anything you like to do other than video games and music with your spare time, or is this your time?
I love to sleep. I love sleeping.
Sleep's good.
Sleep's good. I love watching movies. I just love the arts as well. You know, like music is one extension. The other thing is movies and documentaries. I've watched every documentary there is on video games, and I wish there was more. But I love documentaries in general, just because it's people's stories. And I used to be a gymnast. I used to play soccer, so I'm like an ex-athlete.
Superstar.
No, and then I also love animals. So. Yeah,
I saw something about petting kittens or something on your. So you have a cat? Do you like cats or?
I fostered a kitten last summer in Turkey.
Oh, but you don't have a cat now.
No, I travel too much.
No.
But I love kittens and puppies, and if I could have a bunch of them every Sunday just show up at my door, that's the only thing that would maybe make me stop playing video games is if the doorbell rang and there was a box of puppies and kittens.
Not too much into cats myself, but I do have a Chihuahua, so.
Oh, they're cute. Chihuahuas are adorable.
Yeah, she's my little lap dog. She loves it.
So you don't like kittens, like baby kitties, like? They're not evil.
When I used to live with my parents, my mom had cats, and yeah, I liked them then. But I think now I think I'm more of a dog person. So
that's fair enough.
And I work with for a company that deals with dogs, so it's all about dogs now.
Doggies, they're the best too. Love them.
So okay. I guess my last question here is, so what are your future plans, your ambitions and stuff? Like, where do you see yourself going? I know you were talking about a new LP coming out, and so new EP coming out with David Andronico. Yeah, new EP, lots of songs about video games and lots of music, like sounds like video games. I think the next step would be to have some music in an actual video game. I think that would be fantastic. I'm gonna make that a goal of mine. Start getting friendly with the game developers and stuff.
Yeah. Why not?
EA Sports. Oh, you got that one person you were just mentioning that got his music in there. So you never know.
He's the producer I'm working with.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for him.
Get him to nudge some people and.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I came to the end of my little question list there. And any other questions you might have had for me, or anything you want to throw out?
I have another shout out. So earlier this year, I played a double concert with an awesome band called Console, and it's spelled console like SOUL, but like console like a game, And they play brass arrangements of video game music. They're a really fun band. So we did a concert together, and I just wanted to do a shout out. What we did the show for was for Game Changer and for Child's Play charities. Cool. And they gave us a whole bunch of loot that we raffled off, and they're just amazing. And here, like, Child's Play goes to hospitals, and they hand out this brochure about how certain different video games can actually help children improve. their symptoms and actually get better in the hospital, which is amazing. So there's like recommended games for children under 12, games for 12 and older, and like certain games can actually relieve anxiety and symptoms of hyperactivity, sadness, it just goes on and on. There's cognitive impairment, which I think is just so cool. So I just want to give a shout out to Child's Play charity and Game Changer charities. They are awesome people, and they're both on Twitter, and they've been very kind to me. So follow them, and I guess my question for you was, like, what's your ultimate favorite game?
Well, it's on your dress, so that would be Donkey Kong.
Oh, that's right, it's Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have a secondary. I'd probably go towards Legend of Zelda, because it was just such a different game for me at the time.
Yeah.
But Donkey Kong was, like, when I was a kid, if I walked into the arcade, that was the one I went for, if I could find it. And then that was back when, like, say, Chuck E. Cheese actually had arcade games. Like, they don't do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
But back when I was a kid, or when we were kids, they would have actual arcades, and that would be the one I'd gravitate towards. And one of my first games that I really got excited about getting on my in television was the Donkey Kong. And I still have it today. I still have my physical card today, which I've kept. And it's always been my favorite game. Even though a lot of people slam it, it's not the best port. It's like, I've done a few videos on it, so I've talked about it. But yeah, that's always been my favorite game. And that's part of why when I saw your dress, I was like, damn!
Yay, Donkey Kong! Awesome. Well, thanks for chatting with me, and everybody can follow me on Saniyé Music. And
yeah, so we're going to put a bunch of links into the description, and all the people you had links to.
I have some fun cards. I have a coloring book. It's like...
yeah, so I just want to say thanks, Saniyé, for being my...
Thanks so much for having me.
A little bit of audio.
It's okay.
Yeah. We had a little bit of an audio issue there. I know the streaming's not always perfect, and so this is going to be a two-parter video, but, that's just more fun stuff to watch.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was a privilege talking with you. So,
you as
thanks,
well.
everybody, and thanks all for tuning in.
Maybe we'll play some games next time.
Thanks to those in the live chat, and for just tuning in. Anyways, talk to you guys later.